Hey guys, the Democrats are melting down, and their latest strategy? Threats and profanity. Hakeem Jeffries just warned Republican Andy Ogles, saying, "Don't make me expose you." Meanwhile, Eric Swalwell and others are dropping F-bombs left and right, guys, because when you don't have a real message, all that's left is yelling. And even Van Jones is admitting that the left is in a nightmare. You're going to want to see this, guys. Honestly, it's embarrassing. Let's roll the clip.
Well, in another cringy video, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries threatens Tennessee Republican Andy Ogles for pushing Democrats to be stripped of their committee assignments after their shameful display during Trump's speech.
These people are malignant clowns. Andy Ogles is a fraud, a complete and total fraud. You aren't throwing anyone off of any committee in the House of Representatives. Don't make me expose you to folks who don't know you.
Well, in Democrats' attempt to be hip and cool, social media stars Congressman Eric Swalwell dropped this video and the F-bomb too.
What a f***ing week, huh? You know how weird this week was? I went to the State of the Union, and the president didn't even speak. He just sat up in the visitors gallery like a total weirdo and let his press secretary do all the talking. What a week.
Well, profanity seems to be the new rallying cry. Democrats are now cursing up a storm.
Somebody slap me and wake me the up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off.
Elon Musk. Elon Musk and his hackers don't know.
To think that Elon Musk or Donald Trump give a about our public schools.
It's total absolute
Trump. I don't swear in public very well, but we have to Trump.
Wow, it sounded like Morse code there for a second with all those beeps. Jeremy, it seems to be going well, that postmortem.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they are having a hard time. And really what it is when you don't have a message and you have nothing positive to present to the American people, when you have no plan, no strategy, you just start to just think they're now just going off the reservation, just, constantly swearing and just trying to howl at the moon to try to garner some type of, resistance to what Trump is doing because they have no message. And I think that's the problem right now, is that they are lost at sea. They have realized that the vocabulary that they've used for so many decades about, identity politics and, everything's about your race and oppression and victimization, they realize that whole narrative has failed and they don't have the language to use anymore to actually persuade Americans. So now we're just seeing them throw anything at the wall that will stick. And as we can see, it's quite embarrassing for them.
Well, you say the victimization language has failed. Maybe Al Green did not catch that memo. Listen to him on his censure.
I had to sit in the back of the bus, the balcony of the movie, drink from a colored water fountain when the speaker decided that I would be removed. And then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me. It became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination.
Okay, so Harris, it's invidious discrimination, except maybe it has to do with you were the only House member ever to disrupt a joint proceeding of Congress in that manner. And 10 of your colleagues in the Democratic Party voted to censure you.
I had Representative Gooden on last hour, and he was the person who took that protest card out of the woman's hand, the liberal lawmaker who was flashing the president with, disregard and whatnot as he was walking into the chamber. And he said, I voted on that censure. So he knew exactly what was going on in both those rooms, right? Both those occasions. And he said, well, what did this representative think he was going to get? I mean, this was beyond disrespect. And it fits into the category of why they're cussing at us. They're just out of ideas. And, some of these people did go to some of those Tony liberal organizational schools that we've been talking about, those Ivy Leagues. They've got expensive education, some of them. Why are they out of words? Oh, my goodness, that's all they do is no words. I'm confounded by the fact that they've got to cuss. They really have a license on bad ideas at this point when it comes to policies. People didn't want to hear about all that stuff that they were coming about. Yeah, you can go use the same bathroom as me, And if you dress like me, you're allowed to go in. That doesn't make you a woman, but we know they can't define women. This is across the board. So the question is, who will separate out in the Democrat Party? You cannot be part of the stuff and be quality at the same time. You've got to separate out and be a quality individual. Who among you will stand?
Yes. Well, Van Jones had some sanguine advice for his party. Listen to this.
Look, man, we're screwed. I mean, we don't know. No, Democrats don't know what to do. This is a nightmare. Somebody like Donald Trump, we thought we'd at least have Hakeem Jeffries in the speaker's chair to hold him back if we didn't have Kamala in there to do the right thing. And then offending most people in the country, calling everybody sexist and racist and transphobic and every other name, and then saying, please follow us. That's not a good strategy, folks. Defending a broken status quo and offending most of the country turns out is not as popular as my party thought it was going to be.
Carly is not wrong.
Yeah, no, he is not. And, between the election and the inauguration, there were a lot of reach across the aisle statements. I remember from Democrat Senator Tina Smith out of Minnesota. She said something like, this time around, I'm not going to jump on the crazy train and attack every single thing that Donald Trump does. So maybe she's not on that train, but there are a whole lot of Democrats that are. And when you swear repeatedly like that, that doesn't equal passion. It equals disrespect. And I think it devalues the job that the a certain portion of the American people have elected you to do. And when Republicans were in the opposition party, they had a lot to run on. They had a lot to message on. The border, crime, inflation, because there were issues with the border, crime, and the economy. Democrats don't quite have that yet. So all they're doing is yelling. I do have to give one Democrat some credit here, because over the weekend I listened to an episode of Gavin Newsom's podcast where he's talking to Republicans, and he interviewed Charlie Kirk, and I thought it was fantastic.
I watched that.
Yeah, he really had a very good, solid conversation with Charlie Kirk, and even asked for advice. How should Democrats message this and that? And it is clear that he is doing this to reach a broader group of Americans, clearly has the White House in his sights, but not to devalue or discredit what he's doing there. I mean, he's one Democrat that seems to be getting it right, talking to Republicans rather than cursing and yelling at them.
Emily, I do agree that it was very seductive to listen to him with Charlie Kirk. He's very good at kind of flipping the script, but he's the guy who called the emergency legislative session to oppose Trump. So I feel like there might be a sinister political motive here with his podcast.
It's clear. It's clear.
Obvious political motive. Yeah. I'll say this. When I first heard Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries talk about malignant clowns, I actually wasn't looking at the screen when I heard that. And I thought that it was a Republican talking about those elected Democrat officials who refuse to stand or clap for wins for America and who have been engaging in just swearing. So hilarious that he was actually it was one of them. I'll say this, that the issue with them is that they're falling flat on policy. That's why, in part, President Trump said, look, keep it up. You guys are going to become a vastly minority party if you start voting with the 10 on 90-10 issues. I paraphrase what he said. And they're flailing. I love what you said about howling at the moon, because without the talking points, it's the ones that are thoughtfully engaged and their actual thoughtful discourse are the ones that are unique, and the ones, to your point, that came out and said, I did clap, and that is something to champion. But the squeaky wheel is getting the grease. And absolute erosion of decorum that we've seen is somehow spreading like wildfire, and the thoughtful ones are not. So their leadership needs to do a little bit more, I think, than telling them to vote against the clean CR. I think leadership needs to have a come to Jesus meeting with them about their behavior, because it's unacceptable, and they're going to see it at the next ballot box.
Yeah, and they did have a meeting Friday. It was called a come to Jesus meeting, and apparently they berated their members. So I don't know if it's working or when these were
Jesus was not there.
Not working.
Okay, guys, do me a big favor. Hit that like button, that thumbs up like button, if you think the Democrats have lost the plot. All right, let's break this down, because there's a lot to unpack here. Hakeem Jeffries' threat there at the beginning of this clip. What was that? Jeffries called Republicans malignant clowns and threatened to expose Andy Ogles. It's a total power move gone wrong. What does he think he's got? If anything, this proves just how shaken they are, guys. Why else would a party leader resort to this kind of rhetoric? Let me know what you think, but what did he even mean by "don't make me expose you"? Was he bluffing? Is there something real here? Everybody's confused. Democrats have no message. They're just screaming and swearing. The profanity is off the charts. Swalwell, Al Green, and others are cursing up a storm, thinking that somehow that makes them more relatable or persuasive. The lack of real policy solutions is painfully obvious here. They're out of ideas, so now they're just yelling louder. Van Jones, who's no conservative, even admitted it, guys. The left is in chaos because their usual playbook, identity politics, victim narratives, it's not working anymore. If the Democratic Party has got to cuss their way through an election cycle, how do you think that that's going to go over in 2 years? And then the hypocrisy of decorum in Congress. When Republicans push back, it's called extremism. But when the Democrats disrupt proceedings, when the Democrats throw tantrums, when the Democrats refuse to stand for wins for America, all of a sudden it's just fine. Al Green tried to play the race card again after getting censured, but let's be real. He was the only House member in history to disrupt a joint proceeding like that, which was absolutely crazy, guys. If you haven't seen the clip, go check it out. Notice how Republicans actually campaign on issues: border security, crime, inflation. Democrats are just howling at the moon. Gavin Newsom, the sane one out of the group. What? Who saw Gavin Newsom coming through as the moderate? The one Democrat who knows the game. Unlike his peers, Newsom has actually talked to Charlie Kirk and asked how Democrats should improve their messaging. Why do you think Newsom is doing this, guys? And as soon as I heard this, I thought, oh man, this guy's making a play. Is this a smart strategy, or is it just a political ploy to make himself seem moderate? I'll tell you this, guys. I think he's positioning himself for the 2028 presidential run already. Let me know what you think, though, guys. And guys, hit me up in the comments. Are the Democrats out of ideas? Is their meltdown helping or hurting them? Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think, guys. And if you enjoy this type of content, consider becoming a channel member to support what we're doing here, guys. Every little bit helps keep this channel run, and it helps spread the truth, guys. I couldn't do without you. Appreciate all the love, all the support. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later with another update.